and slide.
Helping us lead longer, fuller lives. Well, now you can return the favor by feeding your cat Iams every day. Cats love its taste, and it's more nutritious because its quality ingredients are more digestible. Iams cat food, good for life. From the Iams Company.
It sounds like this, and like this, and like this. It's the sound of freshness, and you hear it every time you open a jar of Campbell's delicious new soups. Soup stock so full with fresh carrots, fresh celery, fresh onions, and firm pasta, we had to put them in glass just to show them off. Campbell's fresh tasting, best tasting new soups in resealable jars. Sounds good, doesn't it?
It sure does.
The new fresh tasting soups from Campbell's.
The new program schedule on the Weather Channel makes it easy to get exactly the information you need. WeatherScope on the hour and half hour. Your local forecast on the 8s of every hour. TravelWise at 10 and 40 past. The 5-day planner at 20 past. The weekend outlook at 15 and 45 past. And a storm update at 50 past. It's easy to use. The new program schedule on the Weather Channel.
This local forecast is sponsored by the owners, managers, and crew who proudly call the McDonald's in your neighborhood My McDonald's.
This edition of WeatherScope is sponsored by the neighborhood professionals at 1-800-Terminix. Call today for guaranteed termite and pest control.
Next on WeatherScope, residents of the Northeast face a day of high winds, heavy rain, and snow in the mountain areas. Meanwhile, in the plains and the Midwest, residents continue their struggle to save homes and businesses from historic flooding. Those stories, plus in-depth forecasts and analysis on this edition of WeatherScope.
Well, springtime nor'easter will hammer the Northeast today. You will see increasing wind, heavy rain at times, and some of you heavy wet snow. It's a result of a developing storm east of the Jersey Shore. Good morning, I'm Rick Griffin.
And I'm Mark Mancuso, and yesterday we saw a taste of what's coming in Buffalo, New York. A little bit of nasty weather here. It was snowing yesterday morning for the commute. It was a sloppy snow, a wet snow, just a little bit on the grassy surfaces. During the day, as the temperatures warmed up just a little bit, we did see some rain mixing in with that wet snow. Temperatures were only in the 30s, and today will be kind of more of the same. Gray and gloomy, cool, raw, and maybe a few wet snowflakes spinning about. As we take a look at the satellite radar composite, we can thank low pressure developing south of New England here, just off the Jersey Shore. Here it is, swinging its way slowly up towards the north, just off to the west of Martha's Vineyard. That's where our low pressure is, and if anything, it's just going to drift its way ever so slowly north, and then it's going to stop, and if anything, just kind of drift its way eastward. So that means a prolonged period of moisture coming up from the Atlantic and wrapping around our low pressure. So initially, we see our precipitation over here in extreme eastern New York, and with time, everything is going to start to rotate and fall around the low, believe it or not. And as we take a look at the radar, here you can see the moisture just kind of swirling about our system. And the places that we'll see the heaviest rains will be here in New Hampshire and Maine. And then off to the west, as we have colder air, we will be looking at rain mixing with and changing over to wet snow in the higher terrain. As we take it down to the south, well, here you can see the flow down through New Jersey here. Rain and snow mixed. Rain and snow mixed up through western Massachusetts, but all rain in the big cities. There it is, low pressure right around Martha's Vineyard. Southeasterly wind shift right around to the north and northwest, keeping that cool air coming. And coming south, record cold all the way down into Atlanta, Charleston, and Savannah. Pretty chilly this morning, with temperatures in the 30s and 40s. High pressures over Louisiana. West of it, some moisture is returning. Some showers and thunderstorms headed through Texas. Rick?
Well, Mark, while it's record cold in the east, most of the west will remain mild to warm today, but there's enough moisture so that some of you will see showers and thunderstorms, particularly in Arizona, Texas, and even parts of the northern and central plains later on today. Let's check out the map. Not much in terms of rain on this Midwestern weather map, but notice the front up across the eastern Dakotas. That is kicking up at least a little bit of precipitation. And as the front tracks southward today, moisture will be flowing in fairly quickly ahead of it. So by late today, Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa, you potentially could be looking at some thunderstorm activity. You can actually see the moisture on the infrared satellite picture beginning to move its way northward into Texas and Oklahoma. Heaviest moisture now, most concentrated in southeast South Dakota under these enhanced clouds, which are bright white on the infrared satellite picture here because they extend far higher into the atmosphere than the clouds to the south. They're colder and thus are depicted as brighter white on the infrared satellite. Frequently, that is where the heaviest precipitation is falling, and we do see it right here, southeast North Dakota, edging over into west central Minnesota. Showers down around Pierre, South Dakota, and a few sprinkles now over Wisconsin in between the main observing stations right now. 29 in Chicago, cold enough, but how about 16 in Marquette? Very cold in snow-covered Marquette this morning. 43 in Minneapolis, 50 in Kansas City. But it's 68 in Las Vegas and 48 this morning in Portland, Oregon, where a little rain could fall before the day is out. Boise, Idaho could have some rain too as a disturbance heads in off the Pacific, as you can see here on the water vapor, and lingering moisture in the southwest means